Hey guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander
He's
Cockings.
got a Foley.
And today we're taking a look at some TOS ships, which are really cool. We've already kind of looked at them, but we're going to kind of break them down a little bit more detailed, I think, this time.
And I was mid-20s when we did. So it's been a while, right? It's been a while. But of course, Trekyards time, these now new high-end renders, new done for us with all nice lighting. And, in the olden days, we had to see what we could find. And now we make what we need. Easier renders, easier things. Now, Stuart, I hope you're excited. A day of TOS filming. Do you feel the vibes? Are you back in the 60s? Do you like it? Are you...
Absolutely. I'm always in the mood for TOS stuff.
Good man. So the first one, Perseus, what do you think? And of course, we have seen the designs before, as I said, but our angles, you know them, you know our lighting. How does it feel now in this version?
Yeah, the Perseus class, eh? Well, looks fantastic, honestly. I really do like the angles and the lighting that you use for these because it really shows them off. So yeah, these are STO ships,
Mm-hmm.
and
Go play now.
yeah, anything adding to the TOS fleet, I'm down for because it's a fleet we never saw technically. So fleshing it out is always nice.
Okay, where on that line? Because TOS is a hard one where it is simple. This doesn't feel simple anymore. So where on that line now in this render, this lighting, where are we on that line, do you think? To overcomplicate it, or just, yeah, they could have done this, they could have made it. Works.
I like it, but yeah, it doesn't have quite the simplistic feel I get or it should get from TOS. It feels a little bit hobbled together, and they even included like a little antenna at the back, which is very 1960s, which is an interesting touch. It's interesting enough. It's just this view is good. It's all right, but I want to see it from other views, and we'll talk about that as we get there. So
I obviously get Centaur vibes, and you gotta wonder what they're pulling from or not. But just it has the overall feel, besides the fact that just low slung nacelles. Just it's sort of that it feels fast to me. I'm not quite sure why.
yeah,
Makes it so integrated. It's not really a TOS thing. I don't know. Maybe just underslung nacelles gives that feeling. Not sure. I'm interested in that was now they're being shown in full detail and not in the stow engine. How much more uh intersecting, let's just put stuff together, all of the middle chunks are. I remember we looked at it previously, it didn't feel that way, and I wonder, at least I remember it feeling this, it feels more like they don't feel as elegantly designed, more just they had a new saucer, which is a new saucer, and then just slid some geometry inside it. It doesn't work quite as well now.
yeah, I see what you're saying. And it's interesting about the saucer because it's basically an upside down Connie saucer
Oh yeah.
with
Oh
the way
yeah.
the,
Oh
the
yeah.
angle is and stuff, and then the cutout at the
Obviously.
front, right?
Obviously, yeah.
So
Wow, it's
it
so
just
obvious.
it changes the vibe of it quite a bit. So yeah, I do like the red detailing, the pinstriping on it and stuff. I like red pinstriping on Starfleet ships. They're on a lot of Starfleet battles ships as well, and I think it just kind of makes it pop. So
But as we continue on my integrated line, the way that and I guess shadowing makes a difference. The way you can now see at the back of the deflector, there's a shadow of how a piece has just been connected. Now looking at all that, I kind of wish. I mean, kit bashing is all good and whatever. There's a bit more of a through line to the design, or does it work better that it is just pieces that potentially maybe the defective configuration could slip off and put a new one on for improvement? That also might be fun, right? Less integrated might be better than more integrated. What do you think?
um, yeah, I don't have a problem with it being like where you could like take it off and replace it, but this feels integrated to me, even though it doesn't quite look integrated at the first glance. Like it just seems very complicated. Like that's built into the hull, so I don't think it can necessarily be
So kind of
swapped.
adding that slight filter of it's a game model, low polygon. If it were the hero version, there would be something about the flow that would look more integrated. You're kind of making that conversion.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Do you wish the deflector was any different here?
No,
Okay.
that's a TOS staple, and I love it because it just instantly tells you the era, and it's like, yeah, it's again, it's 1960s because it's a dish with the antenna thing on it, but it just works. So
And I do like the fact that all the shapes are somewhat bulky, even curved bulky. There's not, like it's still simple shapes, just more of them. does work for me. But let's look at the next picture, the back. Again, centaur.
Yeah.
In a good way.
See, the struts here are lacking something for me. It feels kind of gangly. Like I
Orthos, man,
wish.
they're gonna be a learning curve, aren't they?
Yeah. Like why the angle? Why not just have them come from the secondary hull and just go straight down into that? Like, I know that might change the overall vibe of it, but it would make more sense, I think, structurally. And I don't have a problem with it. I like the view. It's just something from the back just makes it feel like a very weak vessel. It doesn't have any kind of beef to it. But
Mm. Well, I think they're trying to keep the idea of the straight struts and then doing something different with it, right? Because single angle, single curve might feel a bit different. I don't know. Because I kind of like the two sets of straight struts. That's how it feels to me. It's not an angle, it's just two straight.
I could go either way. I would like to see a straight version, though, straight from the hull to the nacelle. But
Impulse engines, I'm both bothered and like them. Do you know what I
they,
mean?
yeah, and the way they flow back from that center part, they almost feel like an X era, like the
Yeah,
pontoon kind of vibe to them.
100%.
So I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, they don't feel TOS. Like I like the square ones on the back of the Connie. Just these, I don't know. It's not a problem, honestly, but
Well, I think for me, I mean, they've added modules, right? That's kind of what it feels like. But you don't need these giant impulse modules. So because they're so separate, they don't feel integrated, even though they are integrated to the design, but they feel so separate to the design. But TOS is all about, uh, yeah, it feels a bit extra. And then because it's now a unique pod, the fact they're so small and so almost hitting the hull, like Impulse should really be at an edge where it can just project out into space. It bothers me that it's lighting the hull. That means it's that close to light, and these are not high light values. It feels inefficient, and I don't know how you'd fix it, but I wouldn't have put it there.
yeah, I do agree. Like, yeah, you could definitely move those out a tad and have the same idea. And yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, then just different design. Though. I wouldn't mind making it almost more of a Miranda back, having that higher bulk with two shoulder bay pods, sort of square versions, and then maybe Impulse somewhere in that arrangement, kind of bulk out the back a little bit. But I do quite like the shoulder bay here. Now it feels more like they have just taken the last, 20% of a Connie and set it in. But you know what? The different shapes really kind of work well here.
yeah, yeah. The underslung looks nice. I do like that style of ship. So I could make some changes to the shuttle bay though. That would be kind of cool. But at the same time, I like the homogenous kind of vibe, like using the same parts. It just makes sense.
Well, that's the ultimate kit bash problem and benefit is that you like the fun of hey, it's all interchangeable, but also you can change it 5% for the mission profile, right? Like they'd all have slightly different needs. Like even a very very minimalist, just like taking where those lights are at the bottom of the shoulder bay, extending that out as a very slight landing deck to assert are they like having a slight rim like 30% further out would feel a little bit different or doing something functionally different, right? Next view, bottom front. So I get less centaur vibe, even though this is more of a famous centaur pose. I think because of the way the pylons are structured, it's too well Excelsior-y. What do you think?
I do like the saucer because it is just an upside down Connie saucer. I do like the way that it flows into the middle to the planetary sensor dome. I think that looks really, really good. A nice angle. And then the dark gray band, I think just makes it pop. But yeah, the front elements and the back, they don't. It's weird because they feel super integrated, but they just look tacked on at the same time. It's
Yep.
yeah, it is.
Which are opposite almost expressions and feelings, but it's doing both. Sometimes we doing fan film work, if we need to sort of fake this, we would add a little bit of hull that extrudes in between to imply it's like slide into a slot. And if it doesn't feel in the hull because there might have been a benefit here. But I really like the dome, as you say. The black rim is inspired, as basic as it is. It makes that whole bottom area feel intentional and also does something different. I don't know what it does, but it does something, right?
Well, it feels
Yeah.
distinctly different than the Connie underside, right?
But
So
not too big. it just kind of works. I'm a little bit confused if you look at the back. I always think ships being just flipped and moved a little bit less neat and graceful. But now it's got 4 or 5 of those yellow things.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Like when I first saw them, I thought, "Oh, those are escape pods." Just the first thing that came to my mind. But it's TOS, right? And also on the Connie, on the secondary hull at the bottom, you got the round thing for the warp core ejection and stuff. So does this imply that it's got smaller cores, multiple cores that can eject?
It feels
Possibly.
very tacked on because
It
like the bottom
does.
detailing of the Connie is so like artistically minimal yet intentional. This is just they put some boxes. There's such a difference, right? I don't know.
There's not even a variation of shapes like on the bottom of the Connie, which would have been cool.
It's so I love the overall feel of this bottom view because I look at the shapes. It's like, oh, they've just shoved some stuff, placed some places, and not in a good way. Yeah, it's weird, but it would look great in motion though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I was just picturing, right? Like right as you were started talking there.
Do you wish, and this also goes against the kit bash element, that there were slightly different nacelles? If they'd done something different to kind of make all these versions, this TOS Starfleet different. Like, I don't know what, but just something else.
I'm gonna say no. I like that they're the standard nacelle configuration. Although they're like in Starfleet Battles, for example, there's X ships which have like more elongated Bizarre collectors, and sometimes they're blue. Like that's experimental tech, right?
Yeah.
So something like that would definitely work here. But I like this because I just TOS fleet with all the same nacelles I think just looks really cool.
Some obviously we like the inner grill chiller glow. That's always fun. But at the very least, it would have been interesting if for these ships each one had a unique aft nacelle bit. We saw 3 in TOS overall. If they design a few more simple, like really simple TOS versions, but as if each nacelle has a very slightly different something, like that. That's it. Whether you can imagine in TOS they just took it off the model and re-stuck it, right? I don't know, small thing, and obviously I love this, but that could have been kind of fun. But are you ready for all those and see if it falls down or raises above?
Sure, yeah.
Top and bottom, there you go.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
yeah. Well, it's not a Connie. You would not confuse this for a Connie, so
no,
well done then.
it feels very basic though. It feels very facet kit bashy, which
TOS?
is fine. Yep, absolutely. Now I have a problem with nacelle spacing. In the JJ films, they're way too close together. These ones are a little too far apart. I don't mind it, but I think they could have been pulled in a tad just so they're not extending past the saucer diameter.
But I'm wondering if they'd feel too.
That would make it
If it
kind of.
was next the saucer.
Well, yeah, but you might have to make a change or two and move the struts back a little bit, like make a longer section at the back there. But then from the top, silhouette wise, it would be easily confused for a Connie. So
It's also true, yeah.
yeah, so I kind of get.
Well, it's almost as if, and then we've said for a few ships, they do what might be logically Trek design language, but then when they put all the elements together, they're like, that makes this look weird, so we have to extend this. I'm wondering if, and I'm maybe giving too much credit, but because they've really chosen to keep the secondary hull absolute minimal, right? That had they made the nacelles closer in, it would have felt weird. To have one, you had to have the other. Because I think overall, the weirdness of one being small, one being out works together. Like it balances itself out reasonably well to look weird, but well. I wonder if either changed would make it look different. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Now I'm interested about size here because you would think that these nacelles are the same size as the Enterprise nacelles. The struts seem much wider if that's the case, which I don't know why you'd change the strut
Well, you
size,
said they
but
weren't beefy previously, and maybe they really are.
maybe, yeah.
You didn't notice. Because I didn't notice. Yeah, sizing is weird, and I feel the window arrangement is odd. It's fine because saucers don't really have windows, on the flats of the saucer. But now, and also missing registry is the standard thing with starships. I don't know. It feels a little bit lacking. There's something missing. Maybe it's just as simple as having the white boxes and doing something else
Mm.
with that to kind of fill some space.
Yeah, something like that I think on top would actually be nice. But then again, I think they're trying to have it look as different from the Connie as possible. So flip the saucer. Don't put those white little squares in on the saucer. Mm.
I would have made them thinner, elongated, potentially, to be different.
Mm.
So they're doing
Uh-huh.
the same thing. They're just in this ship. The function allows for a slightly different design.
Yeah, or just have two, like two at the front or two at the back as opposed to four, right? Something like that.
Or even like two at the front on the top, two at the back on the bottom. Make it even more,
Hmm.
different.
Yeah.
And obviously no landing legs either. None of that stuff. It's a much simpler saucer, is what I'm getting across.
Yeah. The eyebrows. What's that called?
It
Yeah.
does work. It's just a bit odd.
Yeah.
Next view is everything else. Didn't realize there's 4 impulse engines. A bit surprised.
The side view is not elegant at all. It feels like an older design than TOS. I'm thinking back to the old like the original Romulan War kind of history. Those ships, it's kind of got that vibe to it. Yeah.
Well, the nacelles are interchangeable, so if all they had to do was swap out the deflector and the warp nacelles, then it could be a 20-year-old design, and just one step
Mm.
before.
The front view I kind of like, but at the same time it feels very busy. It feels like I get it like World War II battleship vibes from it because there's just stuff everywhere. I like the way that the saucer is with upside down with it angled down like that. How that matches the struts. That's kind of a cool look. Back's fine. Didn't expect 4 impulse engines like you said. I wish they weren't that shape. That feels very un-TOS. I wish they were still like square.
But squares also feel odd because there's no real squares in the entire shape of the ship. It's a very
It's,
smooth.
it's true, but TOS Connie is also very curvy and
Yeah, but the neck kind of feels almost square. There's more close to square shapes, so allowing for that.
that's fair. That's fair.
This is all more. I mean, obviously got struts here, but it's all a bit more curvy. And I'm surprised, genuinely, the side view that there's just a tube going through the whole thing. Like, obviously there is, based on the top, but like,
Yeah.
I didn't expect for it to feel like almost the ship was a tube ship and then they added a saucer to it.
Yeah. I think that's the first thing that popped into my head too, because I expected even from like the 3/4 view, that front part could like angle in towards the front.
Yeah, something more varied because it just makes it feel even more like they just took some basic shapes and just would TOS.
Hmm.
I don't know, it just feels a bit odd.
I don't want anybody getting me wrong. I like the ship. I like the TOS-ness of it. I like the vibe it's giving off. Yeah, there's just certain things that speak to me when we look at these ships, and I gotta say them. So
And obviously, disclaimer: you can't look at this ship in these views in the game, nor in real life. It's very difficult. So we are,
it's true.
you know, unabashedly looking at what it can do. I'm also slightly bemused by the back view. If you look at the nacelles,
What's wrong with
it's
them?
got both end caps. It's got the grills and the balls.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very hard to see unless you zoom in, but yeah.
Oops. I mean,
And
hey, one texture. It's fine. It's fine.
another interesting thing, I was talking about the struts earlier, just coming straight out of the secondary hull and down. Here, they're hidden behind the saucer. Even from the back view, it's like hard to see them. So it feels like they're just kind of coming out of the saucer from the front view. It's got a very, very cool look. And I think if you change the struts, it would change the way this looks. And I don't know if I'd like it as much. It's an interesting design for sure.
Because all the shapes on the front feel they have a place. The designer linked, like you said, the struts to the side of the saucer to the secondary hull. You can see multiple recurring shapes. So
Hmm.
all sort of flattening in with the pylon to the saucer all works together. But the other views doesn't quite work as well. Yeah, it's real interesting. Hey, TOS can be done different, right? It isn't just a kit bash. 'Cause it isn't. Next view though is we just want to sort of varied views. How aggressive? How TOS grr is this view?
It feels very sciencey for sure. Although those mounting points for STO are on the front there, which glow red, look mean, look like could be cannons or something. So, but yeah, it doesn't feel very threatening at all. It almost feels building like with the way it's laid out. It feels like you're looking at like a complex, like some kind of not cathedral, but like theater in the middle, and then like other buildings beside it. It's got a very
Oh, I
odd.
see.
It doesn't feel integrated. It feels disjointed a little bit.
But that kind of does work for a slightly pre-TOS ship where they wanted dedicated zones, whereas TOS is all in.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's obviously science pod 3 that's is part of the design, but like we're designating that as the science ring, and then the other one, I can see it making some sense if I add some extra logic.
It doesn't feel as good as in this view, honestly.
We're also a bit closer, and some of the angles are a bit blocky. Doesn't really help. I am being a little bit bothered, not only by the scale of the windows and the bridge module, because what is going on there, scaling and but the fact there's now like 3 rings of grey detailing below the windows, the next one, that they just feel so empty. I know there's windows on the side of that, but I mean that much just nothing bothers me. I'm not sure what to do there, but I'm missing something in that middle ring.
Mm-hmm. I do like that step look, though. It kind of gives a feel like it's an older TOS design, like slightly older than the Connie, and then
Next, though, is a detailed view of everything in the back, pretty much.
I'm interested what that dome with the antenna is.
I assume it's fleet control.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I'm whelmed.
Yeah.
It's just
nothing to write home about here.
The impulse just doesn't. Yeah. Maybe it's just as simple as the way there's like a lip, and you get the curve of the saucer, but because there's a lip, maybe it feels protruding out past the saucer, and I wouldn't feel like it's hitting the saucer. Or like if it was, right?
Yeah, there's something about the shape of them that it doesn't feel like it fits the rest of the design.
Next, though, is the front. Again, same. I don't quite know what the details are either side of the main tube. There's a slight grilling inside. I don't really know. It's just sort of hull to say a hull.
Yeah, those side bits on the tube just kind of bother me a little bit. Like, and the more I look at it, the more it's like, are those really necessary? Like, I think there's better ways to do that. But
conceptually, they're great to diversify those areas. And then last view is the first view. I think highlights it quite well. Right, do you like it more, less? And it's now one of your favourite TOS ships.
I like it more or less. So both. No, it's not one of my favorite TOS designs by any stretch, but I like it as an addition to the fleet. I'm in my headcanon, it's just a slightly older design that's been maybe upgraded a few times to have the new nacelles and stuff like that. But it feels like a relic. I don't have a problem with it being in the fleet, but like I want it to be like either a science vessel or obviously a kind of a scout ship because it's not very big.
Bridge dome windows.
I like TOS ships, so I do like it, but I don't know if I like it. I don't think I like it less or more than when we started. It's just one that feels a little clunky. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely got a well done. I mean, this was back in the day, right? A well done stove for such a mostly successful design. Do more, and this is obviously the full analysis treatment to see how it looks. So we are looking for stuff, right? It's good. It's great, and it looks great in motion. Maybe it'll appear in one of Stuart's films. Who knows? TOS Fleet, right? It's a great shape. Yeah. You know what else is a great shape? Is the join button on the YouTube channel. You can click it, enjoy the channel, help us every month to do what we do. All the downtime, new renders and new ships and new things. If you can, please do. Thank you in advance.
Comment down below what you think about this ship. Know any other ships you might want us to look at? All the things, do the things. Comment section. This was there for. Make sure you're subscribed, notified, and join us for lives. It's simple. You got an easy job out there.
It is easier than this. Yeah, for sure. But we did it, so you don't have to, etc. But if you want to support as well, join the channel as well on YouTube or Patreon. There you go. There's 2 pays. Patreon, join that if you can each month, or PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com. Every bit does help. Or join the lives, where you can talk to us, see us, interact with us, and create a conversation, or even have us do AI fun ship melding things. You could take this ship and say, make it better? I don't know, right? Like, imagination,
Yeah. So do all the things and come back and join us next time, whether it's a live or an edited video. We really appreciate you guys and like seeing you. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
Bye, everybody.